time response example. Let's look at one problem. Let's say we have an equation given like this. Consider the system d plus 1 y of t, that's equal to d plus 2 f of t with y of 0 minus is equal to derivative of y of 0 minus, that's equal to 1, and f of t is equal to u of t, that's a unit step function. Find the question is asking find the total response of the system y of t. Now the first thing is, when we are dealing with total response, first thing we have to find out the zero input response and then impulse response, and then we have to add them together. So first let's go ahead and find out the zero input response. Zero input response. First we are gonna put the characteristic equation, that is, we replace this d with the lambda plus 1. By doing that, we can, by equating this one to 0, we can find out the real roots. So if you solve for it, you're gonna get one of the real root as, that is 0, and the other one as lambda 2 is equal to -1. Okay, these are the real roots. We get it from this equation. After we found out that, we can use the characteristics modes. In this one, we are going to apply these real roots. One is e power 0t and the other one is e power minus t, and y0 of t, therefore y0 of t is equal to c1 plus c2 e power minus t, and c1 is going to be as number 1, actually 1, because if you have e power 0 multiplied by anything, that's going to be 1, so we can just write it as 1. So the c1 will be eliminated and we will have the rest of the thing. And if we take the derivative of this one, we are going to end up getting negative c2 of e power minus t. Therefore, initial condition y0 of 0 is going to be equal to c1 plus c2. The initial condition is equal to the previous condition, y0 minus, that's equal to 1. Therefore, we can say that y0 of derivative of that is equal to negative c2. That is equal to derivative of previous state, that's equal to 1. Okay, therefore from this we know that c2 is going to be equal to -1. If we solve for c2 is equal to -1, then if you apply in this equation, you will get c1 to be 2, because 2 minus 1, that gives us 1. Okay, so c2 is -1, c1 is 2. From that one we can write the equation, that is y0 of t is equal to 2 minus e power negative t u of t. Okay, so this is what we get. This is our c1, this is the equation. e power 0 like c1 times 1 plus c2 e power minus 2t, and we solve for the c1 and c2 and apply it in this equation, and we got this one. This is the zero input response. The next thing we have to find out is impulse response. So I'm gonna go to a new page and do that. Second part, we are doing the impulse response. And in this equation, in this impulse response, if you remember the generic equation for the total, we are dealing with the total response example. So the total response is given by this equation: h of t is equal to bn delta of t plus pcd yn of t and then u of t. So from the given in the question, we have this equation given. So I'm going to write that one over here. d plus 1 y of t d plus 2 f of t, and from this one we can find out the order. This is the second order equation because we have d outside and d, so if you multiply, that's d square, so the order is second order. And here we can find out the b2 value. In this case, this bn, since it's second order, we can write it as b2. And then to find out that, we have to look at the coefficient in front of the highest order. Like if it's second order, we have to look for a d square and what's the coefficient in front of it, but here we don't have d square, so it means b2 is 0. Okay, so once you have found out that, we can write this equation: yn of t is equal to k1 plus k2 e power negative t, and if you take the derivative of this, that is negative k2 e power minus t, and yn of n minus 2, since this is second order, n minus 2, 0 is equal to 1. That's the initial condition. If yn of 0 is equal to yn prime of 0, then yn of n minus 2 of 0 should be equal to 0. And if we have yn of 2 minus 1, that's initial condition, 0, is equal to yn of 0, and the derivative should be equal to 1. Okay, let's continue here. So minus k2 e power minus 0 is equal to 1. Therefore, k2 is equal to negative 1. Yn of 0 is equal to 0. k1 plus k2 is equal to 0. Therefore, k1 is equal to 1. Yn of t is equal to 1 minus e power negative t.
Hello?
So here, p of t, yn of t, d plus 2.
അവസരപ്പെട്ടെടുത്ത് പോയിട്ട് എന്നിട്ട് പോകാൻ ചെന്നാൽ ഇത് ഒപ്പഴത്തിന് നാളേക്ക് പറഞ്ഞിട്ട് അടുത്ത് എടുക്കാനിരിക്കാം. അപ്പൊ എവിടത്തിന് എല്ലാവരും யாரும் கொடுத்துட்டாங்க. இது அதுதான் அவசரப்பட்டு போய் கூடாத இடத்து போட்டு தெரியல எங்களை கஷ்டத்துக்கு இந்த இன்னும் கஷ்டத்துடைய மன கொண்டு போய் கிடக்கணும் உங்களுக்கு போன பார்க்க